Ayahe, ayayere, uyo, uko, kuno, abo, bano. Mama wanna get it, mama wanna get it.
That's what today I prefer it being short.
Right. So, Doc, we're live now. I'm very sorry for catching you unawares, and I hope you're doing well. Today is 9 November 2021, and we have a very, very interesting development that happened last week. Did you see the roadmap for by-elections?
What are you reading? What are you seeing that I'm not seeing? Oh,
well, there were new announcements by Zimbabwe Electoral Commission of yes of the by-election roadmap. Okay, did you see that announcement of the by-election roadmap? Hello, Doc, can you hear me? Okay, I think we've got a technical fault, so let's take a break.
Okay.
Right, Doc, can you hear me? I'm seeing a very big delay in our communications. Can you hear me clearly? Right, guys, I'm very, very sorry. I've lost my guest here. We are unfortunately unable to bring you Dr. Feddious Mutenheri today because of various renovations taking place at his office. So he's not able to hear me when I'm talking. I would have loved to have his input in this discussion. And specifically, I wanted to talk about the by-elections that have been announced by ZEC. And ZEC has given a roadmap. So the roadmap looks like this. There are 133 seats that are up for contesting. And these will be contested from the 23rd of April, 2022. And out of these 133 seats, there is 28 parliamentary and 105 council seats. And it's very unfortunate that I'm unable to hear.
Sorry, Gambakwe.
Yes, are you able to hear me, Doc?
Sorry, Gambakwe. I've just gotten you now. Now I can hear you, yes. Thank you.
All right, fantastic. So let me continue with the introduction. And I hope that
you need to restart because I couldn't hear.
Okay, so what I was saying is that we've got ZEC has announced the by-elections. The by-elections have long been awaited for by everybody. And they've now announced the date of the by-election, which is on April 23, 2022. That is when the by-elections are going to be. And of these by-elections, there are 28 parliamentary and 105 council seats. And the way they are broken down is like this. Bulawayo has got 2 parliamentary and 9 council. Harare has got 12 parliamentary and 29 council. Manicaland has got 2 parliamentary and 17 council. Mashonaland has got 3 council. Mashonaland East has got 3 parliamentary and 7 council. And Mashonaland West has got 12 council. Mashingo has got 2 parliamentary and 7 council. Matabeleland North has got 1 parliamentary and 4 council. Matabeleland South has got 0 MPs and 7 council. Midlands have got 4 MPs and 8 council, which gives us 28 parliamentary or MP and 105 councils. Right. Are you aware of these by-elections, Doc? Have you been familiarized with this? Okay, I think our leg is continuing, so I'm going to let you watch me as I speak. I'm sure there's a very big delay between us here in South Africa and you there in Botswana. So let me take you through the issues here that I wanted to raise
Well,
with Dr.
yeah,
Mutenheri.
good evening, Gambakwe, and good evening to the viewers.
Okay, I'm so sorry about this delay and this lag. I don't know where it's coming from, but please just bear with me as I ask questions, then you can answer them. Let's start with the name. What name is Chamisa going to be using when contesting these by-elections?
I can hear you. I can clearly hear you. I don't know if you are.
Okay, did you hear that question? Right, so I think we've got a lag, we've got a delay between myself and Dr. Mutenheri. So the first question that I'd asked was, what name is Chamisa going to be
like
using
I would want to say, I mean,
this election?
it's quite sad that I can hear you clearly. I can hear you clearly, and I hope you are following me. If you just wait seconds, I can hear you.
Okay, he's gone again. So I think let's give him time. It's unfortunate. I don't think this is going to happen today in terms of him answering the questions that I wanted him to answer. So if we look at the issues that arise from this by-election and why we say Chamisa is now in a corner, it's because he has to make decisions now that he was not prepared to make. So I'm specifically talking here about the name of the party. That is going to be critical because Chamisa is not going to be able to contest at the MDC alliance, which means he has to make a decision on the party name immediately. So right now we're in November, and that gives Chamisa December, January, February, because I want to take you through the roadmap. And the way the roadmap looks is like this. And this is coming straight from Zach. So from 1 November to 1 December, Zach is going to be doing preparation of voter education materials for pre-nomination and voter education. From 3 to 26 January, there'll be preparation of the voters' roll for nomination, polling logistics, voter registration, and ICT. And then on 1 February, Zach is going to issue a notice and the presidential proclamation. So Doc, can you hear me? Are you able to hear me now? Okay, I think we still have a problem. Now, on 3 February, there will be a closure of the voters' roll for National Assembly. So that is 2 days.
I can hear you very well. I've been hearing you all the time. I think, yeah.
Okay. Then on 3 February, there's going to be invitation of media and observers for accreditation. And then 3 February to 20 March, to accreditation of observers and media security, secretary to the commission. And on 3 February, there'll be dispatching of voter education materials for pre-nomination, voter education, and voter education admin. So, Doc, what I want to do here is, I know there's a delay between what I'm saying and what you're hearing. I want you to prepare to answer me this question. So you answer it as soon as you can. What name is Chamisa going to use to contest these by-elections? That is the first question I want you to answer. I know there's a delay, so just answer me on that question. That is the first corner that Chamisa is going to be in my view. Right, then on 4 to 8 February, there's going to be voter education for pre-nomination. And then on 12 February, there's going to be updates on state of preparedness, elections, and training of PEOs. Are you able to answer me, Doc? Right, then on 24 February, there's going to be the formation of the multi-party liaison committee. And then on 24 February, again, there'll be inspection of lodged papers. 26 February to 9 March.
I'm able to do that. I don't know if you can hear me yourself, because From here, I can answer you.
Okay, please proceed with the answer. Doc, please proceed with the answer, because I'm sure we have a delay.
Can you hear me,
with a lag. Yes, I can hear you. Proceed.
The question. Okay. Thank you very much, Gambakwe, and I would like to greet your viewers. I think for the last 10 minutes, there's been quite a technical thing where I don't. Okay. So I'm saying it's said that we have had 10 minutes of you not hearing me. I can hear you clearly, and all your questions are very, very clear. Your introduction, very, very clear to me. And if you can hear me now, the first thing I'll do is to greet your viewers and say yes. The question before us is Chamisa in a corner because of by-elections, and you ask me questions to do with what ZEC has put in place as way of a roadmap for the election. However, I've also information that the ZEC still says that only and until the vice president, who is also the minister of health, that is Mr. Chiwenga, unless he lifts the SI, the statutory instrument which lifts the ban on elections, these elections may not be, I mean, according to ZEC, may not be able to go on. But you ask a question about the MDC alliance, and particularly Nelson Chamisa, who is its leader, if they have a name. I don't think there should be an issue there, because remember, a name for a political party in Zimbabwe, particularly a political party, there is no law that really guides or that really strangles or makes it difficult for a political party to register. And if the Douglas Monzora MDCT is making it their strategy that they can stop the MDC alliance led by Nelson Chamisa to register for the next by-election, I think that is a very, very weak strategy, because what Nelson Chamisa needs to do, we have always said, if Monzora decides to say they will use MDC alliance and try to stop them, and because we know that they've got the support of those that are in the decision making, Nelson Chamisa can still make his MDC alliance Chamisa, or MDC Chamisa, whatever it is. That is not an issue. What is an issue in this election now would be, does Nelson Chamisa have, is he able to be given the leeway, the space? Is he able to be given the opportunity to meet with those, the electorate? Because in the recent past, we have seen that he has been trailed, he has been followed, his life has been put in danger, which has not been good for democracy. And I think it is upon, like I always say, upon our government to make sure that they live up to the SADC guidelines on free and fair elections, which is that all political parties that contest do have access to the media, do have the freedom to access all those spaces where they need to, to campaign, you know, meet their electorate. But in Zimbabwe, in recent times, we have seen that for Nelson Chamisa, it has been difficult for him to meet those people. And we have seen ZANU PF, upper Richix, you know, making all efforts to stop him, to make sure that he does not have access to those spaces. And for all we care, we know that there is a broad alliance that is coming against ZANU PF, and ZANU PF is very much aware of that. And for that matter, they have tried by all means to stop it. And Gambakwe, if you can hear me, I think the name issue here doesn't arise. It's an issue between the MDC alliance and ZEC, for which ZEC does not even have a legal instrument to stop the MDC from registering their party the way they want. They must not be seen to be supporting any one party or the other. They should let the MDC alliance register with whichever name they want. We have seen in the past that ZANU PF or MDC itself, MDCT particularly, they've managed to register double candidates or triple candidates, whatever it was, using the same name. So at this stage, we want to see, actually, we want to observe and see how the ZEC is going to handle this issue. But otherwise, the name of the issue of the name is not even an issue in these by-elections. Yes, Kambakwa.
Okay, Doc, I hope you can hear me, and I want to go back to what I've been saying over the past few weeks, and I want confirmation, Doc. Are you able to hear me? All right, I think we still have a lag, and what
I'm able to hear you. I can hear you clearly.
Okay. So what I want to say is the problem with Chamisa is not in winning elections. The problem with Chamisa is in creating a system. So a system includes the name. If you want people to vote for you, you need to have proper systems, proper structures. You need to create confidence in the people that when they vote for you, something will come out of voting for you. Currently, as things stand, people don't have confidence in Chamisa. And I want to show you why I'm saying this. Since the 2018 elections, there has been a lot of by-elections, and the MDC has lost all those by-elections. So I want to take you through the by-elections that have happened, which Chamisa has lost. Mutasa, Raw District Council, Kadoba, municipality, they won that one. Bikita, Raw District Council, they lost that one. Nyanga, Raw District Council. Bubi, Ngai, Lupani East, Glenview. Let's see who won Glenview. So Glenview, MDC Alliance won, but ZANU PF had half of the votes that MDC has got. So the point I'm trying to make here is the name MDC Alliance. It's very, very important. And Chamisa has lost that name to Ngonzora. He's not going to be able to use that name MDC Alliance, except if you're saying that he's going to agree to use the name MDC Alliance and Ngonzora uses the name MDC Alliance. Is that what you're saying, Doc? Right. I think I'm not getting an answer, and this is going to be a very difficult night for me.
Gambakwe, I'm not saying that. It's unfortunate. It's very unfortunate that even at the eve of that election, but by the way, I hope you heard what I said, that only and unless the Minister of Health, who is the Vice President, And oh yeah, I don't know. I was answering, and I'm sure you have a problem hearing me. I have no problem hearing you.
You can proceed, Doc. There's no problem. We can hear you, but there's just a bit of a delay in hearing the Doc there. So anyway, let's proceed with the by-elections that the MDC has lost. So Mangwe, they lost Mangwe, they lost Maswingo, they lost Zaka East, and then in Caesar, an independent one, they lost Chirezi, they lost Cholocho again, they lost Wedza. So MDC has not been doing well since the end of the 2018 elections. They've lost most of their elections, the by-elections there. Unfortunately, the doc is not able to hear me to give me an answer on the name. I would have wanted a complete answer to do with the name. Now, let me go to the second point.
Okay, Gambakwe, I think I will stand down today because obviously you cannot hear me. I can clearly hear you, and probably tomorrow, or if we can still have this discussion or any other time you reschedule, I can clearly hear you, definitely. But I can see that from your side there is a problem with hearing me. I think you are having a lag. I'm not having a lag at all. So I guess this discussion, interesting one for that matter, we might need to lay it down and proceed at another time when we can clearly hear each other. Is that fine with you, Gambakwe? And I apologize to your viewers for that. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. And
my apologies, because definitely you can't hear me. I can hear you.
Yeah, it's unfortunate that I can't hear you today. And these issues that I wanted us to discuss here are critical
Gambakwe?
issues. Okay, I think the doc has given us his farewell. He's left the studio. So what I wanted to say is, unfortunately, Doc Mutenheri, he always has very interesting ways of describing the situation, and he gives us a fresh view on the situation. So unfortunately, as I said, he's got a construction taking place at his office, and it's disturbing all the interesting work that we wanted to do here today. So anyway, let me go to the point that I wanted to make, which is to say, Chamisa will be forced at this particular point to say what name he's going to use in the election. No matter what happens, by February, we are going to know what name Chamisa is going to use. If he tries to use MDC Alliance, we're going to know if that is allowed or not, if ZEC is going to allow that or not. So that is the first corner that Chamisa has put himself into. There's no way he can avoid saying what name he's going to use. If he chooses to use MDC Alliance, obviously he's going to be taken to court, or he's going to be prevented from contesting. If he chooses to use a new name, CCC or Ngapinde Mkomana or whatever, he's going to have a situation there, because people in the rural areas do not know this name. People in many areas do not know this name. So the issue of the name is going to be key. It's going to be central to whatever happens in these by-elections. If Chamisa uses a different name, I can foresee a very big loss. Then there's also the issue of voter turnout. If you look at all the by-elections that I've been telling you about, the ones that happened after the 2018 election, the voter turnout has been very, very low. There are places where there were less than 400 people who voted. And this is going to be a very, very big issue in terms of if ZANU-PF can organize themselves and they can bring in a lot of people to vote, Chamisa is definitely going to lose this election. You may be surprised to see me not talking about Monzora. And I think Monzora is going to capitalize on the name MDC Alliance. There are people who are definitely going to vote for a candidate written MDC Alliance, because the candidate who will be on the ballot paper is not Chamisa, is not Monzora. So there will be someone with a hand on them on the ballot paper written MDC Alliance. There will be a lot of people who vote for that person because they're MDC Alliance. There are people who are not on social media who don't know what has happened, especially in the rural areas. There are so many seats in these rural constituencies. And those people are going to vote for whoever is on the MDC Alliance name. And that is a very, very big disadvantage for Chamisa's new party, which has got no name as we speak. That is the first corner that I say Chamisa is going to be in. The second corner, obviously, is going to be the voter turnout. Are people going to come out and vote, given what has happened? What about ZANU-PF? Are they going to be able to bring out their people to vote? Then I want to look at the number of seats. If we're looking at 28 seats, let's say out of 200 or 105 seats out of 1,000, so that's councillors compared to MPs. This means that this is a mini referendum for Chamisa support. How much support does Chamisa still have in Zimbabwe? This is going to be critical information for planning for ZANU-PF. If Chamisa manages to win certain seats, the government of Zimbabwe and the people in ZANU-PF, they're going to be planning to see how they can turn over the win of Chamisa in this particular by-election. They'll be able to use the information that they get to see how they can strategize in the 2023 election. So I see this as a win-win for ZANU-PF, new information that is going to come from just the by-election happening. It's going to provide critical information to ZANU-PF about what is going to happen in 2023. So as I said, critical point that we've reached. I do not believe that ZEC is going to extend the period of the election beyond the roadmap that they've given. I don't think they would publish this roadmap if it has not been agreed. So if you want to see the actual roadmap, if you go to gambako.com, that is the top story at the moment. We've got all the information here on the website that shows what is going to happen and when. So the actual election is going to take place on 23 April 2023. And the biggest corner that Chamisa is now locked in, where he is stuck, is the name. There is nothing that is going to be as important as the name that Chamisa is going to use within the next 2 months. So by end of February, I think 21 February, the nominations should have been put through, or the papers should be with ZEC. And by that time, we will know what Chamisa's party is going to be called. And I'm sure that at the moment, Chamisa did not want to reveal the name of the party. He did not want people to know what he's planning. But all those plans will soon be exposed. There's no way that he can hide this information, because then he will not be able to go into these by-elections. So I want to read the comments. And I want to thank Gogo in here for saying Apins were busy. Thank you, President Chamisa, for keeping him guessing. I'm not guessing. I can assure you that Chamisa will be forced to produce the name of his party before the end of February. He has to produce that name. He cannot get out of that one. If he wants to use MDC Alliance, that means he has to fight it out in court with Monzora, and he will lose. And if he puts in a new name, he's going to have to contest. His candidates are going to contest under names that people don't recognize. And Chamisa is going to lose once again. The MDC Alliance guys are going to capitalize on this name. Let's look at other comments here. Leroy, good job, Gambakwe. Thanks, Leroy. And then let's look at other comments here. Even a headless chicken cannot vote for Monzora. I do not agree with you, because they're voting for the name here. These are just candidates. Monzora's name first is not going to be on the ballot. The ballot will be having the name of the councillor with the name of MDC Alliance. And that is a game changer. This is going to be very, very important. And that's why you see that Chamisa has not been wanting to change the name. He can gain votes if his name is on the ballot. But if it's a candidate, let's say Gambako is a candidate, if Gambako's name is right next to MDC Alliance, it's going to be very different for very difficult for a voter to vote for a candidate with an unrecognizable name compared to that of MDC Alliance. Then let's go to, I can't even call, that is Kim Ensign. I can't even call Gambako a journalist. He's just idiot. Okay, let me explain to you, King N. I want to address this topic. I'm not a journalist. I'm a media company owner. That's different. So a media company owner is above a journalist. What does that mean? I give you my analysis here at a level that is beyond journalism. A journalist is someone like Blessed. Blessed cannot do something that the boss doesn't like. He can only say what the boss likes. Hopo can only say what his boss likes. Like if he works for his boss at BBC. Myself, I say what I like, and I don't have a boss. That's the difference between me and the journalist. Then let's go to another. Right, Leroy is saying doctor is giving Chamisa wrong advice. I now suspect that this doctor might be a ZANU-PF project. No, Dr. Mutenheri is not anyone's project. Let's go to the last comment that I'm going to take here. And this comment, I want to look for a good one. Right, there is no opposition party in Zimbabwe, or those who are masquerading to the opposition and lying to their supporters. They're working extra hard for ZANU-PF to remain in power. I tend to agree with you to a certain extent. Let me tell you why I agree with you. The opposition parties in Zimbabwe, they lack one thing, which is systems. I want to repeat this until people understand what I'm saying. If you are going to get into office, you need to have systems in place so that when you get in, you take over. At the moment, Chamisa cannot take over in Zimbabwe. He's unable to take over. He's not capable of taking over because he currently lacks an understanding of what government is, how government operates, what is where. So the current situation that is there with Chamisa, you can compare it to the period before independence, when the guys who were in the bush, the ZANU-PF guys, came into government. They did not know where things were. So they had to be handheld by the Rhodesian government, the guys who were from the Rhodesian government. So you will see that most key positions in the Zimbabwe government, the new Zimbabwe government, were held by people from the Rhodesian government. Chamisa is going to get in if he wins the election. First, he's not going to have the majority of the MPs. Chamisa does not have national support as far as MPs are concerned. His political party does not have a majority in parliament. He's got only probably 30% support. So if Chamisa was to go into office, let's say he wins the presidential election, he's going to have a very difficult situation in that he doesn't have the MPs, plus he doesn't know where things are. He doesn't know how systems run. You can compare this to the situation in Zambia currently. Hakainde Hichilema is struggling to stabilize the Zambian government as we speak. He's failing to make key appointments. He's failing to take control of key parts of the Zambian government because he did not have the systems. So when he got into office, the first thing he did is to try to fire people. But when you fire somebody, they just walk out of the office and they leave you without information. This is the situation that Chamisa finds himself in at the moment. The best situation for Chamisa at the moment would be to go into a government of national unity with President Idi Mnangagwa. Why? Because that will give him time to understand how the government of Zimbabwe works, who is who, to map that government. And at the moment, Chamisa has not put in place those systems. He doesn't understand. He can pretend to know, but he doesn't know how the government of Zimbabwe works at the moment as we speak. He only thinks he knows. But if he was to be handed the reins to that Zimbabwe government, he will fail to run it. He won't manage to run it the same way that President Mnangagwa was able to run it, because President Mnangagwa was in the government for years. He ran different parts of that government, the ministries. He had people everywhere. And Chamisa has got no one. He's got no one in government. He's got no one in security structures. He's got no one in the military. He's got no one in the police. He's got no one in the prison services. There is no way that Chamisa can take over in Zimbabwe at the moment. He's got no foot he's got nowhere to go, no foothold at all. So that is why I'm saying MDC supporters, when they're told go to Poland, they don't understand what it means. That is the only way that Chamisa can go into government. Maybe in 5 to 10 years' time, he will be able to take in. But he cannot currently, as things stand. Chamisa cannot take over the Zimbabwean government and make it successful. So it will be chaos. Just like the situation in Zambia, we saw that the government of Hakainde Hichilema got in, but they've not implemented anything. As we speak right now, all the big things that they were talking about, they've not managed to implement. They're busy with administration tasks. It's going to take them 3, 4, 5 years addressing the admin task. Then only in the second term, Chamisa is going to be able to in fact, Hakainde Hichilema is going to be able to do anything. But as things stand right now, Chamisa is not able to take over the government of Zimbabwe. Take also the issue that Chamisa's party is in shambles. He's got no office. He's got no proper structures. He's got no membership cards. He's got no membership registers. When he goes to a place, let's say he goes to Mashonaland East, he's got no structure there. He doesn't know who is who. He doesn't know where his support lies. And most of the people that vote for Chamisa are not supporters, are not members. They're supporters, which means if President Idi Mnangagwa does something well, then he will win in that particular area. So that is the difficulty of which Chamisa is facing in these particular elections. And in his politics in Zimbabwe, the politics of opposing President Idi Mnangagwa for Chamisa is futile. It's got no end. And most MDC supporters who know, who think deeply, they know what I'm saying. You cannot take over a system that you do not, that you're not part of. And I keep giving you an example of a McDonald's. McDonald's super takeaways. If you are a sweeper at McDonald's and you want to tell the CEO something, all you do is you walk to his office and you knock and you say, boss, there's a situation here. There's too much salt in this meat, and you laugh and you leave. The boss will hear you out. But if you're a customer, they won't even allow you behind the counter. That is what Chamisa is like. He's like a customer. He's not able to say anything. He's not able to go in and make a change. He needs to go into Poland, strike a deal, and understudy President Idi Mnangagwa for the next 5 years. You will see. It will be like magic. If Chamisa goes in and understudies President Idi Mnangagwa within the next 5 years, he will know people in the security structures, he will know people in government, he will know people in administration structures. Then he'll be able to get in. But as things stand now, he's not able to go in. So this is all that I wanted to say for today. I'm very, very unhappy that I was unable to talk to Dr. Feddious Mutenheri, and I know he's got critical contributions to make. And I want to conclude by looking at some of the comments I got yesterday after we talked about Simbach Kanza and Shepherd Judah being from Malawi. I got a lot of calls today to say, why did Jonas say those guys are from Malawi? I think that is, well, you know, when we're having a discussion, these things come up. It was unknown to me that Simbach Kanza and Judah, they are from Malawi, and they were demonstrating against the President Mnangagwa. I don't think that's the reason why they were demonstrating against President Mnangagwa. but it's information that came out during the discussion. I'm not saying it's good for what Tinashe Jonas said, but all I'm saying is it came up as a discussion, and it's a point taken that maybe we should avoid those kind of discussions. So if anyone was offended about that, my apologies. But I really think we need to have deep discussions about where our country should go, where our politics should go. The MDC guys, they are not thinking deeply at all. Most MDC guys, they're just sloganeering. They just think that becoming president of Zimbabwe is a walk in the park. They don't understand that getting into the government of Zimbabwe and making a change is a much more difficult job than winning an election. It needs a lot of planning. It needs a lot of compromise. It needs a lot of strategizing. And at the moment, Chamisa is just not there. And these by-elections are going to prove it. Chamisa is going to lose a lot of by-elections here. And then you understand. This is, I bet you we are going to be here. Soon after Christmas, we're going to come back here. We're going to continue to talk about the actions that Chamisa is going to take. You will see that Chamisa has got no plan. He is going to have the plan forced on him. The situation is going to force him to make plans. He's probably going to try to force the name MDC Alliance. Then he's going to lose in court, and then he has to find another name. And that is a sign that someone is not ready to take over. Right, I think I've said enough, and I had to do a lot of improvising here. So tomorrow I'll be back. We saw that Xavier Kasukuwere apologized for everything that he did. So I want us to dig deep into why Xavier Kasukuwere was apologizing. We want to go into the dossier of how many people Xavier Kasukuwere actually killed and harmed. So tomorrow I'm going to have the information, including the names, so that we can see why he is apologizing, and whether that's enough. You know, whether that apology that he gave yesterday, whether it was enough to say, I'm sorry for everything that I did. Also, people like Godfrey Tsenengamu, they have apologized. But what are they apologizing for? When someone is apologizing, should they also say what they did? And should they also go to the people that they harmed and apologize there? Or should they just apologize on TV and end there? So tomorrow I'll be back. That is the issue that we're going to be tackling on Xavier Kasukuwere's apology and his past involvement in violence. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll be back tomorrow. Good night to everybody.
Uko kuno